Yeah, my name's Jeff Lemire, and I live and work in Toronto now, but I grew up in Essex County in Woodsley on a farm, and I published my first graphic novel, which is called Lost Dogs. I self-published it in 2005, and I was lucky enough for it to get distributed throughout the States and Europe, and after that I decided I wanted to do stories that were a bit more personal, and my sketchbook started to fill up with a lot of drawings and characters based in Essex County and rural settings, and I started to fall in love with that kind of thing again. And I guess at that time I'd been living in Toronto for about 10 years, and it gave me enough perspective on where I came from that I started to see maybe the beauty in Essex County and in farm life that I didn't maybe appreciate when I was growing up, and the wide open spaces and rusty old farm equipment and things like that, that I just started to fall in love with drawing those kind of things, and certain characters started to repeat themselves in my sketchbooks, and I decided that I'd set my next book in Essex County, and so I did a book called Tales from the Farm, and it's about a little boy named Lester who grows up on a farm much like the one I grew up in, and he's orphaned, so he has to go live with his uncle, and they don't really get along, so he kind of escapes into a fantasy world that he creates of comic books and superheroes and hockey and all the things I was into as a kid. And when I finished that book, I submitted it to a few publishers in the States, and I think 3 publishers wanted to do it, and I chose to go with Top Shelf Productions, which is a really great American publisher. And so they put out Tales from the Farm, and it was really well received, so I decided to do a trilogy of books all set in Essex County, the second of which just came out last month. It's called Ghost Stories. And that book was really special for me because it got to combine, I guess, my 2 passions in life, which are comics and hockey. And so it continues sort of the story of the first book and the same family of the first book. And it follows 2 brothers from their childhood on the farm until the 1950s, where they both traveled to Toronto to play hockey for a semi-professional hockey team that I invented called the Grizzlies, and it kind of follows a season of them playing hockey together in their 20s. And then something happens that sort of tears the brothers apart, and one goes back to Essex County to raise a family, and the other stays in Toronto, sort of living alone. And the book kind of follows them into old age, and much like the child in the first book uses his imagination to escape, the old man at the end of my book kind of used their memories to escape into. So that's the books I've been working on. The 3rd volume is being drawn and written right now, and it's supposed to come out in 2008. And
I was actually just going to ask you, as far as working on this, like, strictly on your own, I know you do all the work, pretty much. I mean, have you found any support in it, like even for scanning or any assistance that you've gotten, or are you still doing it all?
I still do it all, yeah. Once the artwork's done, I do all the pre-production stuff, mostly myself, and then send it to my publisher.
So no...
They kind of would probably do more of it for me, but I kind of a control freak, and I like to make sure that the final product is as close to how I want it to look as I can, so I'd rather control as much of the process as I can. And it's a lot more work, but it's also sometimes a break being able to work on a computer and just do that kind of stuff rather than sitting and drawing all the time.
Oh yeah, for sure. As far as working and doing the signings and going around and doing the books, and you've been now in the last year or so in a completely different arena than you were, probably doing smaller press conventions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Was the small press area, how has it been for the last few years? As far as like broken pencil stuff and doing that and doing like Canzine and all that, is it vibrant still? Has it gone down?
Well, I started doing all that stuff when I self-published, and before I got my first graphic novel self-published, I was just, like you said, doing my own sort of stapling and cutting and photocopying and doing really small shows and stuff, and that was a lot of fun, and it's a great way to start doing stuff. But since I've got the books published by Top Shelf, I've been busy going to bigger comic conventions in the States, and unfortunately don't seem to have enough time to do the small press stuff anymore, so I'm not really good at it.
Jeff, how difficult was it to write about something like so emotional, like this developing relationship between this father and son through sport, which is like hockey, which is usually you only discuss when you win or lose, like the emotions?
Well, for me, it's not so difficult. like I said, I set the books in Essex County, and all the settings are real places around the county. But none of the characters are real people that I know, so there is all fiction. And for me, it's all just about telling a good story, and the story has conflict and drama and stuff like that. So while it's very personal to me and stuff, they're not my stories, so it's not so emotional that it's difficult for me. It's not like a cathartic process of me getting out my demons or anything. It's just me telling a good story.
Yeah, that's the other thing about doing the process and teaching or working with people who are just starting to do it. And I always explain right away that this is a very long process. This takes a lot of time, and follow through is obviously extremely important. But by the time you come up with this, I'm not even a writer either, so I don't even know what it would be to have someone go like, wow, did your father hit you when you were a kid? Like, there's got to be questions like, no, it's just a story, I just kind of made it up, you know? But in doing the process, once you think about it, thumbnail it, pencil it, ink it, scan it, letter it, you've now seen this artwork. I always figure it's like being a comedian and telling that joke for the 150th time and still trying to deliver it properly and just being so tired of it by the end of it. But
I'm usually really tired of my stuff, and I can't really look at it again until I get the actual book back, and then it's like I kind of have a distance and appreciate it again.
Well, holding the finished product
it's always
too.
rewarding. That.
If you get a publisher for one of your work, to what extent are they involved in the distribution? Is that what a publisher is?
That's the main advantage of having a publisher. When you're self-publishing, getting distributed is really difficult. There's only one distributor in North America for comics, and if they don't pick you up, that's it.
You got a bunch
But
of
if you have a publisher with a reputation, they're obviously going to get distributed. So that's the biggest advantage, and they take care of all of that stuff, which is nice. It's nice to be able to do the creative part, put it together, and then move on and let them take care of all the business.
As far as deadlines and that go, how are they as far as they penalized? Is there contracts? Is there?
It's all I don't know. For me, it's all on my own pace, and when I'm ready, then we're ready to just sort of so.
In regards to your influences, like art, I'll ask this for both of you. Are you influenced, Michelle, by the Franco-Belgian School of Art? And I noticed there are references, Jeff, to Joe Kubert in your work, like in the actual writing. And there seems to be a kind of Kirby-esque style. Are you a big Silver Age fan?
Yeah, my favorite stuff is Silver Age superhero comics. I get the most out of that. As far as the artwork is concerned, the stories are pretty silly now when you read them, but just to look at the artwork, them just so elegant. You can make it black and white now, and it just looks so beautiful. But when I got more into indie comics and stuff, I discovered a lot of European cartoonists as well, a lot of South American cartoonists, and their work was just so expressive and painterly, and that I guess my style would probably combine those two things.
Well, working in the indie comic scene, you must have to do a lot of collaborations. You're doing a lot of solo work here. Do you find there's pitfalls in the collaboration, specifically being in the indie realm? The pitfall, do you find advantages working on your own?
I've never really collaborated.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That was a perfect question. Then I'm glad I asked.
Yeah, I prefer to write and draw my own stuff, so I'm kind of lucky that way. But I imagine it would be really difficult to find a collaborator where you can kind of keep your vision.